given that you are one of the many fantastic co-hosts of Willow Talk, we're lucky enough to have you every other week.
Yeah.
In the off season.
So what are we going to talk about today?
That's a great question. What we're going to talk about is we're doing a bit of a deep dive with some of the people we've spoke to today, masterclass, if you will, and looking through your record, Heels. You're a big game player.
Oh, okay.
You've performed in some of the biggest games. Going back to January 25, 2016, in a WBBL semi-final against the Hobart Hurricanes at the Gabba, 77 or 45, Sixers won by 103 runs. So on today's little episode, we're going to talk about some of your big performances, player of the match performances in big games.
Okay.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here.
That's it. That's all I've had.
No, well these are player of the match performances.
Oh, okay. So that's all I've had. Yeah. I've also got a really bad memory, so you might have to refresh
coach you through this stuff.
Yeah.
But broadly speaking, when it comes to a crunch game, whether it be an elimination semi-final or a final of a World Cup, does it get the jelly beans jumping a little bit more? Do you feel like this is the time to really pull one out?
Well, it must, but I don't necessarily change anything that I do. It just must sit somewhere deep inside of me, and then I need a sports psych to come along and pull it out of me and get it to go for every game.
Yep.
But, I mean, if you were to ask me if I'd rather perform every single game or the moments that count, I'd say the moments that count. So I'm very lucky, but I don't necessarily change anything approach-wise or my thinking. I think it's just maybe switches me on a little bit more.
Sure. And has that changed over your career? Because at the start you'd be up for every game, right?
Yeah, I think, and probably as you mature and as you grow as a cricketer and as a human, I think you understand what's important more than that everything's important.
Yep.
So maybe that's sort of happened over time. But yeah, I was just more enjoying myself early on, let's be real. And if it played well, then yippee. But otherwise it was a good time.
Plus, back when you started, there was superstars all around you as you were coming through, so lots of people to pull the weight.
Yep.
But this semi-final against the Hurricanes, I mean, do you remember it? Do you remember?
Sort of, yeah. Yep.
Going into that game early on in WBBL history,
yep.
You've pulled out a big win in the semi-final to get the Sixers through.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was WBBL 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a year that we lost the first 6 games and then won the last 6 to make the playoffs, basically, make the finals, and then made it all the way through to the final. And we were, I think, 1 run away from winning the final as well. It was a remarkable run, and we called it going vertical, and every other team in the comp absolutely hated it. But we were thriving off it. But I do remember that semi-final. It was just like a really whirlwind year where we just couldn't find a way to win. We had a really great side, and then the back end of the tournament clicked for us, and we were on a roll and playing some really good performances. And then obviously having the Hurricanes in the semi-final, for some reason early on, it was a bit of a rivalry. We don't really know where it came from.
Yeah, right.
We just wanted to beat them and obviously play the Thunder in the final.
And the mighty Thunder got up.
Yeah, like the last ball, I think it was...
Doesn't matter.
I think we missed the run out, maybe that last ball, and it would have sent it to super over or something. So it would have been cool.
What was that crazy one at Drummoyne Oval?
Yeah, that was the semi.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not sure that's on this list, but that was a wild game.
I didn't do much in that game. I just threw the ball, the hit stumps.
Big game play, big moment. Sure. Let's go forward a couple of years to the WNCL final against WA at Blacktown, 122 of 109. The Breakers going to win by 51 runs. I mean, before WBBL, these domestic competitions were all about state cricket.
Yep.
So, and the Breakers had such a great, how many years? 20 years?
So we were 19 from 21 or something like that. Yeah.
What did it mean to stand up for New South Wales in a final?
Yeah, it meant a lot, actually. And I actually do remember that day, and I was just so determined to not get out early on. And I think sometimes that's important. I throw my wicket away a lot, but I was so determined to stay out there and do the job, kind of like I'd watched everybody do before me, like the Lisa Stolakers, the Alex Blackwells, the Leopoldtons. They stood up in the final, let us young punks do our thing, but they kind of got the job done, got us over the line. So I felt like in that moment, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do that for the team, and culminated in 100, which is cool, but it was more so just staying out there and giving our team the best chance to win.
I mean, you look at these performances, your team inevitably wins by huge margins. So when you play well, team obviously goes pretty well. I'm trying to pump you up here,
Thanks.
Mitch. Right, later that year, November 22, 2018, World T20 semi-final against the Windies, Antigua.
Yep.
46 off 38. Australia went on to win that game by 71 runs. So it was a bit of a low-scoring game in the end. And your strike rate, while not enormous, was actually better than a run of ball. Was actually pretty good effort in that game.
Yeah. I remember, I think I had a decent tournament that World Cup. So I was in a little bit of form. But, yeah, we got to the semi-final and the final. The wicket was like a little bit slower. It had been used a little bit more. And we had to knuckle down a little bit and actually not concentrate because we're always concentrating, but like switch on and just get ourselves to a total. And that's all I can remember. Yeah.
I'm about to save you heaps of money on sports psychology because what I've picked up earlier is that if you just concentrate and don't try and throw your wicket away, you score some runs.
But I tell you what, sometimes I tell myself to concentrate and I still nick the next one. So
should have played more aggressively.
There's a balance.
Yeah, sure. Okay, 2020. You would have spoken about this one a few times. March 8.
I remember this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
How many in the 87,000?
Yep.
Probably know the number off by heart.
Yep.
But 75 off 39 against India in the T20 World Cup final. You and Beth Mooney put on a big opening partnership. Australia win by 85 runs. You said it before, but one of the real cool moments out of that game that you spoke about is how you and Beth looked around the England team. Can you explain what you saw when you looked around and saw your opponents before a ball was bowled?
Yeah, and I've since played like with a lot of these Indian players and they roll their eyes, but it was genuinely like Mearns and I walked out to bat and I think everyone was nervous. Like we were nervous. You'd be crazy to think that we weren't.
Yeah.
But there was some sort of calmness between the two of us. And then I remember Mearns likes me to face the first ball. So I've got to look like I'm confident because if you're shaking in your boots at the other end, you've let them win. Anyway, Deepti Sharma bowled the first over. And I remember looking up, I marked centre, I looked up and she was fidgeting, just like pulling her shirt, pulling it at her pants. She was like fixing her shin guard or whatever she was wearing. And I remember like walking down, tap the wicket, and I said, she's nervous. I'm going to get full toss first up. Like, she's nervous. I'm going to hit this one. And Mearns sort of laughed away. And then lo and behold, it happened. I've played with Deepti since, and she still fidgets, even when she's not nervous. So maybe it was just a mindset thing for me. But it felt like a really big occasion. But for some reason, Mearns and I were just so calm out there. And it was just, once you got the first one away, you feel like you're in the game and off you go. But that doesn't always happen. But it played out well that night.
It was just such great batting to watch. Like, in every final, you want it to be close. Even you know.
We don't.
Well, you don't. And I was even thinking it would be great for world cricket if India won that. You know, obviously want Australia to win, but if it would be the end of the nation, it'll help grow the game, right? And WPL and all that's come from it. But watching you put them to the sword and then Mearns, after you got out, it was just like the cleanest striking. Have you hit a ball better than that day?
That bat has since, like, it's on a shelf at home. I don't think it's been used till it's completely dead, which is cool.
Oh, so you kept using it?
Kept using it after that, and it's like proper. The blocky bat maker was like, you need to put that away, like sign it and put it on a shelf. But no, it was just like every now and then throughout your career, and you speak to a lot of cricketers, and they say the same thing. You were just in the zone. It was just like everywhere I wanted to try and hit the ball, it went, and it's just one of those really good days that came off. But the one thing I loved the most was how niggly the Indians got when they got me out, and I was like, mate, the game's already over. Like, go home. And I loved it because they're not normally like chirpy like that. Well, they hadn't been. They are now, but hadn't been before then. And yeah, to get under their skin early, like that's kind of my job, right? And that's what I thrive off, and we did it. And coming back into the dugout was just good fun.
I mean, Brad Haddon would be tearing up hearing that.
Yeah. That's our job. We're the nigglers, right? And then if you got bat in hand, you just got to like put them to the sword, right?
That bat had the purple stickers.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a cool blade. Yeah, the Black Panthers won that. Is that right?
Yeah, we did.
I'll let the listener know that it's funny because Laura Jolly, the great journalist at cricket.com, who's covered women's cricket and covers it better than anyone, in my humble opinion. She messaged the group chat saying, Mitch just used the term Black Panther. Does anyone know what that means? I'm like, well, there's a Marvel comic book character, but maybe it's the civil rights movement in the US.
No. Well, basically, to sum it up, we have like a little bit of a theme for most of the World Cups we go into, and like depends where the team's at. And anyway, in that World Cup, we knew being at home, so much pressure on us. And we knew that teams are starting to come really hard at us early, in particular, like with the ball. Teams are really like running down the wicket, hitting it, trying to get our fast bowlers off their line. So anyway, we were racking our brains. We spoke a lot about it, and I was like, "Is anyone else Marvel fans in the room?" There's a few of us, like Megan Shoots, like Fawcett. And I was like, "What about like Black Panther?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Well, you know, how they make the suit, and basically every blow that he takes, the suit absorbs, and then it puts it back on the opposition, his opponent, 10 times as strong."
Yeah.
And anyway, a few people got around that idea. So it's one of the few ideas that I've got through the team. Normally people just rubbish them. And then we were wearing black, obviously, the kit. So everything just fit. And then we just spoke about, absorbing. And then when it was time to throw our first punch, we do it properly. And I think we found a way to do it by the back end of the tournament.
A couple of years later, these are back-to-back games. This is like icing on the cake kind of stuff. World Cup semi-final, West Indies, in Wellington, 129 off 107, Australia by 157 runs. Like, talk about getting into the final. I mean, a semi-final is sometimes even more nerve-wracking and disappointing if you lose, because making the final is such a huge achievement, right? You've kind of like you're halfway there.
Yep.
But to stand up in the semi-final in New Zealand against the West Indies, where's that one rank?
Yeah, pretty high, because I was copping it again, like the T20 World Cup at home. Wasn't making the runs I wanted to, but I knew I was really close. All I had to do was just hang in there a little bit. Concentrate, apparently.
Okay.
But this is another one of those stories that's going to go down that path. But just hang in there and give myself a chance. And I remember Rach Haynes walked down the wicket at some point in the first 10 overs and was basically like, said something, and it was really serious. And I looked in her eyes and I was like, I need to switch on here. Because I'm a bit like laid back, pretty relaxed out there, have a laugh and a joke and switch on when I need to. But Rach was like really determined that day, and I was like, I've got to match this energy, so switch me on. But funnily enough, that tournament, a few keen eyes spotted it, but I was using the Kookaburra bubble for most of that tournament, and I wasn't making enough runs, let's be real. And it got to me, like a message came through via Mitch's phone from the great Ricky Ponting, who said I was much better with the Kahuna stickers, right? And at that, I never let anyone inside my own head, apart from Ricky Ponting, right? If he says something, like, so I actually, the night before the last round game, switched my stickers to the Kahuna.
Yeah.
So I got the hairdryer out and bloody ripped them off another bat, put them on there, because I was like, this bubble's not working. And all I ever wanted to use was the bubble, because that's the one I had as a kid. Anyway, so Mitch was helping me do that. Had the Kahuna, didn't make any. And I was like, well, stuff this. So I pulled out the bubble bat again, and off we went and made runs with it. And so I was able to reply and go, well, the bubble works just as good.
So
Ricky Ponting got in my head.
You're not the only one.
Ricky, leave me alone.
You're not the first. So you only use the Kahuna for one game.
So I use it for one game, the last round game. And then, but I remember hitting with Pete, our sports like, actually, just before the semi-final, and I laughed and was telling this story to him, and he's like, mate, if LeBron James messaged me and told me that my shoes should be purple, not black, I'm changing my shoes to purple. Yeah. So he knew, and I was like, yeah, I've got to go to Kahuna. It didn't work. So it justified in my own mind that I had to go back to that other bat, and it came off good in the end.
Also pretty wild that, like, Ricky Ponting is watching you.
It's pretty amazing, yeah. I didn't even have his number. Yeah. Like, it came via Mitch, and I was like, no. But, yeah, it was cool.
When I used to work with him, when you got a message from Punter, I was like, what?
Yeah,
What's wrong?
Yeah. He'd be that guy if he rings you, you answer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, my wife's in labour. What do you want, Punter? All right, last one with the bubble bat again.
Yes.
This is a big one. This is the World Cup final against England. Arch rivals at Christchurch. 170 off 138. Australia win another World Cup by 71 runs. I mean, was it to continue on? 2 innings, 300 runs, easy.
Yeah, that one was more like Rach and I were, if we get through the first 10 overs, we're going to build a big total. We just couldn't let them get in early.
And are you saying that because of the opponent or the conditions?
The opponent.
Yeah.
I think England's real threat at that time, obviously Sophie Eccleston, but their new ball attack was world class. You got Brunt, you got Shrubsole,
Yep.
and then Natsiva was bowling at the time first change. So they were really skillful up top, and we were like, if we just don't let them in the first 10, we'll go a long way to getting a good total. And we did that. We ticked that off. I remember glove punching. We're like, we did that. All right, let's keep going.
Nice.
And then, lo and behold, I kept going. I just kept going right until the bloody end. And I was lying on the bench in between innings. People were massaging my forearms because I had my hands were stuck together because I was cramping. Someone was making me a smoothie, and I looked like the ultimate queen, like princess in that change room, and I hated every minute of it, but I couldn't do anything. I had to go out and wicket keep. But that whole innings, I tell you, is still a bit of a blur. I just remember Moons' face when she came out to bat by the back end and was just like, every time I hit a boundary, because I was tired.
Yeah.
I couldn't run.
Yeah.
Every time I hit a boundary, she was just like, yeah. Every time it was like glove punching me was more stoked than I was. So it was pretty cool.
The only blemish I can see on that scorecard, that innings, 0 sixes.
Yeah, I was tired.
Not at the start.
Well, look, I think people forget how little I am. My power game isn't actually a thing.
Fab.
I hit a lot of fours. I don't hit a lot of sixes. But
you hit I don't know how many in that World Cup final.
Yeah.
You hit a lot in that game.
But, I mean, I've actually really felt for Natsiva that game because, Natsiva Brunt now, because she made 150
she played so
in
well.
a chase in a World Cup final and lost. And it was just like, it's probably one of the best innings I've sort of seen as the opponent.
Yeah.
Have
you done that to her a few times? She got hundreds in losing causes?
She gets hundreds against us for fun, but
Yeah.
it doesn't always equate to a win. So you keep going, Nat. We'll take the dub.
That 170, I mean, you're so close to that 200. But when you walked off that at half time, I mean, maybe wheelchaired off.
Yeah, I was basically carried. Yeah.
Did you think, game over, we've got this?
Oh, look, I thought when you post like over 300 in a final, you're pretty confident, but we knew what they had.
Yeah, of course.
We couldn't get Nat out either, so it was a little bit tense throughout the middle, but I think once we had them sort of 7 down, we knew that we were in with a shot. But it was just an amazing day. To play in a neutral venue like that and have the crowd we did at Christchurch was pretty cool.
Were they behind you?
It was a bit of both. There was a lot of Barmy Army sort of chanting going on from, I think, some of the families, but the Kiwis were behind us by the back end, I reckon.
Amazing. Big game player, Alyssa Healy. A couple more left in you, hopefully.
Fingers crossed, that'd be nice.